The lighting panel is just like your home circuit breaker box. There are several circuit breakers that turn on the various lights, wall sockets, dimmer panel, control room, and on-air light. Let's start with the switches that should always be left on. These set of switches are for the control room. They power the wall sockets that the control room equipment is plugged into. These switches are covered with black gaff tape because they should never be turned off. This is the circuit that controls the switch for the on-air light. There is also a switch in the control room that needs to be turned on. This tells people outside the studio that a taping is going on and no one should just walk into the studio. This set of circuits controls the wall outlets. When these are turned off, there is no current sent to the wall outlet. This would mean that anything that you plug into the wall socket would not work. You need to have these turned on in order for the socket to be live. If you aren't getting power to the monitor, teleprompter, or whatever you have plugged into the wall outlet, check to make sure these switches are on. Each wall outlet is labeled with a number. You need to have the corresponding circuit turned on. This circuit is set up for the green screen. If you want to use the green screen, we have determined a special set of instruments that are already set up for you to use. You just have to turn this circuit on. If you look at the grid, you will notice that some of the grid has numbers, and there is also the letter D followed by a number. First, you trace the cord of the instrument you want to use to where it is plugged in. Sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's not. Then, look at the number on the grid closest to the socket you found. Once you've found the number, go to the lighting panel and find the corresponding circuit breaker. Turn the circuit breaker on. This is all you need to turn the light on. If it doesn't come on, climb the ladder to check to make sure it is plugged in and that the instrument itself is turned on. If the light you want to use is plugged in to a socket that has a D in front of the number, it means the light is plugged into the dimmer panel. The circuit for the dimmer panel is 18. You need to turn circuit 18 on, then move over to the dimmer panel. First, make sure the dimmer panel is not in blackout. If it is, push this button to turn the lights on. Select either the A or B panel. The lights then work on a slide pot. Adjust the light to the brightness you want it to be. The idea behind the dimmer panel is that you have more control over the brightness of the light. If it is hitting too hot on the face, you can adjust it down. When using the studio lights, it is important to always wear gloves and check the lights to make sure it has a safety chain. It is a good idea to work with a partner when setting lights. They can help turn the circuit breaker on and off, as well as act as your lighting model. Hopefully this has helped you learn a little bit more about the lighting panel in Studio One.